Welcome to the Blues Trail Revisited podcast. It's episode 21, and I'm Ted Reed. This show is sponsored by the Clarksdale Tourism Commission, Visit Clarksdale, and in partnership with the Blues Foundation. The Blues Trail Revisited podcast is an offshoot of a film I finished this year about my return to the Mississippi Delta to rediscover the places I first encountered 50 years ago. To see the film, just go to www.bluestrailrevisited.com.
I'll hang on to you softly, but I really am a beast. Be ready when I call you. Be ready when I call you. You know you got to tremble when the devil calls your name.
Musician Guy Davis is also an author, a teacher, and a Broadway and film and television actor. Among his acting roles, we start off Broadway as the legendary Robert Johnson in Robert Johnson, Trick the Devil, winning the Blues Foundation's Keeping the Blues Alive Award. Raised in New York City by actor parents Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis, he was schooled in the blues by his Southern-born grandparents and first started playing them when he was at summer camp taught by Pete Seeger's brother John. This year, he's been nominated by the Grammy Awards for Best Traditional Blues Album. I talked with him in Clarksdale, Mississippi. We're at the lofts here at the Five and Dime in Clarksdale on Delta Avenue and 2nd. So, how did you get into the blues?
Seems like the blues was there all the time, but the first time I remember hearing it was some white college boys were singing it. I was just a little kid nearby, and they were into something sounding like Howlin' Wolf. I don't know what it was. Maybe like Meet Me in the Bottom. But it wasn't the kind of music that I heard in my home coming up. You know, like we'd be listening to Harry Belafonte and stuff. But the voices of the blues, I came to discover, sounded like my grandma's voice. She was a church-going lady. But when I went to church, you heard people hollering like they had the blues.
Wow. So you didn't know about this with your grandma, right?
No, I didn't know about this with my grandma. She and my grandpa on my dad's side were respectable community folks way down in Georgia. They were go-to people. When people had problems with the white man, they'd come to my grandma and to my grandpa, who would kind of find a way to mediate. But the blues, let's just say that was kept a little off-center from my growing up.
Okay, but how did you find out about it? Did you ask your grandma, hey, how'd you learn to sing like that?
No, I never asked her, but I knew from her stories in general that that's the way she came up singing. Her sisters, her brothers, that was her life.
It resonated with you, though, somewhere inside, right? There was something inside that you said, I connect to that.
Yes, it resonated. It's like it was already there, and hearing it just kind of opened up the cabinet. I didn't know immediately that it had to do with black folks or our history, but indeed it did, man. That's the music of the history of this country right here. The blues is a record of the black man in America, and nowadays to keep the blues alive, it's got to be sung by everybody. And I've met a lot of people, even down here in Clarksdale, who love it. I've had my fun. If I don't get well no more, Lord, Lord, Lord. Yes, I've had my fun. If I don't get well no more, have mercy. My health is failing me. Going down slow. Don't you send for no doctor. You know the doctor, he can't do me no good.
that I should. Ride my mother, tell her the shape that you find me in.
When did you first pick up a guitar?
First picked up a guitar, I guess I was about, let's say 12, and I was about 16 when I wanted to get serious.
And by serious, you mean playing out, right?
Serious, playing anywhere, just sitting there and committing my fingers to squeezing on those strings. And, when I was 8, I picked up a 5-string banjo. That came from being at a summer camp where it was run by Pete Seeger's brother. So I got to hear a lot of music by folks like Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee and Big Bill Broonzy, and learned about Leadbelly. Learned about Lost John, who had that special pair of shoes that he kept in a sack with a heel in the front and a heel in the back. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Did you consider other instruments before you decided that guitar? I mean, I know you described how it kind of happened, but
Besides,
did you ever consider anything else besides?
Well, I might have once thought about. I might have thought about 1 or 2, but I gave up on them. Now I go through the airports, I tell them I'm a guitar smuggler. It's hard to make a living playing, music on these things. Yes, there was the banjo, there was the bull fiddle. I was offered a chance to play the tenor saxophone, but it was too shiny and too big. So I decided, I think I started out on drums at school. So I'm a percussionist, I play an Australian didgeridoo, I'm working on the mandolin, can't handle the violin. So here I am playing the 6 and 12-string guitar. That's primarily it. But also that 5-string banjo, I still play that.
What do you got against the piano? You ain't trying to keyboard?
Actually, I compose at it. I actually faked my way playing at a show when I was in my 20s, and this show was in Queens, New York, the suburbs. One of the musicians, and I'd seen them do their play, they were my friends, was off and got high. And I couldn't play like a real pianist, but I knew the tunes well enough to provide the actors with what they needed. And I faked my way in a show orchestra, but that's okay. That happens sometimes.
That's cool. Seriously.
Which guitar did you bring for this gig?
But both of them, I brought 1 6-string, 1 12-string. One in each hand. They pay me extra money to play both at once, but the check, I ain't seen the check yet.
Right, but they will pay.
Yeah.
They will pay you.
Mother called me a drunken slob. Said, go out, get yourself a job. I know she loved me, she told me so. She told me pack my things and go. So I moved out, I got myself a wife. But I wasn't finished with my drinking life. The kids came along, 1 through 4. They find me drunk outside my door. Papa got drunk, please don't kill him. Papa's in jail, please don't kill him. Papa need bail, please don't kill him. I know she wants to kill me and I know it's right. A man needs to get his ass kicked by a good woman every now and then. I stayed drunk for many years, left my wife and kids in tears. The woman I chose to be my bride never left my worthless side. Our anniversary came, but I forgot. She went out and cried in the parking lot. She got mad, but didn't say a thing. So drunk I lost my wedding ring. Oh, Papa got drunk, please don't kill him. Papa's in jail, please don't kill him. Papa need bail, please don't kill him. I know she wants to kill me and I know it's right. A man needs to get his ass kicked by a good woman every now and then. Let me tell you the greatest news. I got a woman I'd hate to lose. She put hot sauce on my steak. She put air in every breath I take. She put stars up in the sky, but she put a fist in my right eye. If she see lipstick on this shirt, Who's that woman? What miniskirt?
Taking it from there to here, how did you end up at the Juke Joint Festival?
I should have been here years ago. But see, I got a manager and an agent, and they want to keep me from the riffraff, and have me out there touring in the world in all sorts of exotic places. But they didn't realize that to me, Ground Zero and this whole town of Clarksdale and the museum and where Muddy Waters used to live, this is Ground Zero. This is the crossroads. This is exotic for me. This is where I belong.
Okay. What can folks do to keep the blues alive? Obviously, you're doing your part, but it can't survive all by itself. There are a lot of people helping, but what can folks do to keep the blues alive?
To keep the blues alive, you got to do more than go on Google and listen to the old recordings of the old masters. You got to support the men and women who sing and play this music now. They play it live, they interpret it live, and that's the way this music used to be heard before the recording industry was born. It was played live. So people support who is here right now.
Have you played Clarksdale before?
Secretly, yes. Just about 25 years ago, I was brought down here because there was some documentary being shot about Robert Johnson and his life, and they needed a figure to walk around the foreground down the railroad tracks. And so they drove me down from Memphis to here. Went into the museum. I went out to Stovall Farms. I saw Muddy Waters' place before it got transported elsewhere. I went around there and secretly tried to pull a nail out of a log, because they say, don't take souvenirs, but I tried, I had pliers, man. I couldn't make that nail budge. And when I went around the front, cameras rolling, and I'm trying to be this young brown-skinned blues expert, I put my hand on that place. I felt the power of God just hit me. And oh! And I started crying, and snot's coming out my nose. And I said, this is the crossroads right here. I found it. So during that experience, somewhere there was a club called Mr. Johnny's, right here in Clarksdale, and I got a chance to pick up a guitar and plunk on it. So that was my secret debut. Now I'm going to do my official debut.
Fabulous. All right, man. Anything that you'd like to say to the folks that I have not asked you of?
Does it cost much to live here? No, I'm messing with you, no, man. All I want to say is please continue to support the blues and all these wonderful people, especially these brown-skinned people who are the children of the children of the children of the people who invented this music. Make sure that this history is dispersed through education, not just in the juke joints, but through education.
Very good, guy. Thank you very much. Pleasure to meet you. Good stuff.
My pleasure.
Thought I heard the devil call my name. I thought I heard the devil call my name. Looked around, it was 1:30. I said, I can't leave now, the party's just begun. Thought I heard that devil call my name.
I'd like to thank everyone for listening to the Blues Trail Revisited podcast in partnership with Visit Clarksdale and with the Blues Foundation. You can watch the film that inspired this podcast by going to www.bluestrailrevisited.com. And you can find out a lot more about Clarksdale, Mississippi by going to visitclarksdale.com or download the app and check out all the cool interactive features. And for news and info about the Blues Foundation and the Blues Hall of Fame, go to blues.org. I'd like to shout out a special hello to the folks at Live from Clarksdale and Shared Experiences USA. They're still live streaming music from Clarksdale and organizing special Delta experiences. Check out their Facebook page or livefromclarksdale.com and sharedexperiencesUSA.com. I'm Ted Reed, and to all you blues music fans out there, keep on hitting the blues trail. You never know what you're going to find. The Blues Trail Revisited podcast is produced by Ted Reed Productions. The field audio producer is Nolan Dean, and our project manager is Jamie Nice. Thanks for listening.
I thought I heard the devil call my name. Say, I thought I heard the devil call my name.